Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to today's live session. I hope that you're all well and safe wherever you are. And today we're going to be learning some very real English. You're going to go through a role play conversation that you would have potentially with a doctor. So I'm going to go through a script that I've made for you. And I'm also then going to discuss some of the vocabulary that comes up in that script. And then we're going to role play it. So I'll go through the entire thing, explain some vocabulary, and then it will be your turn to role play the script with me. So you will play the patient, and then you'll have a chance to play the doctor. In the UK, we have a general practitioner. That's usually your first port of call. Your first port of call means the first place or the first thing you do, the first port of call. So if you are unwell, as long as it's not serious, if it's an emergency, you obviously go straight to the hospital to A&E, accident and emergency. But if it's a general ailment or illness, then you would go to your general practitioner, although we tend to call them a GP or just generally a doctor. You go and see your doctor or your GP. Now, when you are living in the UK, you register with a particular surgery. So you have to register with a surgery before you can see a doctor. So normally when you move somewhere in the UK, one of the first things you do is register with a local doctor. Often it will be a doctor's surgery that has many doctors. So there might be multiple doctors and nurses who work within one practice, one surgery. So me, for example, if someone asks me who my doctor is, I don't know. I don't have one particular doctor. I have a surgery that I belong to. And every time I go, I tend to see someone new. So it's quite a big surgery with lots of different doctors. So yes, in this particular scenario, in our role play today, we're imagining that our patient is going to what we call a walk-in center. A walk-in center is a place where you don't have to be registered. So it's a surgery or a clinic where you don't have to be registered. You can just literally walk in and say, "Hello, I'd like to see a doctor, please." And they'll take some details from you, and then you'll probably have a long wait because you won't have an appointment. So you'll have to wait for your time to be seen, and then you'll see a doctor. So in today's scenario, our patient has turned up. I mean, they arrived, they have turned up at a walk-in center because they have an issue that has been ongoing for a long time. So something is ongoing, it means it's continuous. It's been happening for a long time. So they have an ongoing complaint, an ongoing issue. And rather than seeing their normal GP, they've decided to go to a walk-in center. This is because they want a second opinion. Now, you can often ask for a second opinion within healthcare if you're unhappy with the diagnosis or the avenue of treatment, the road of treatment your doctor has decided to take you down. So if you're not happy, you don't think the doctor is right or that their treatment is the right treatment for you, and you'd rather see somebody else and see what they think, then you ask for a second opinion. So you go for a second opinion. So this is the case here. We are asking for a second opinion. Let me bring the notes up on screen for you now. Okay, let me make it a bit bigger for you. Let's see if I can make it even bigger. Here we go. Okay, so just to let you know, if you are a student on one of my courses or you are a club member over at englishlikeanative.co.uk, these notes are available to you now. You can download the PDF from the community website. So just go to our community site, to our live lesson room, and you'll find the lesson and the notes there for you to download. Okay, so our patient has arrived at a walk-in clinic to seek a second opinion. Seek means to find. So you seek something, means you're looking to find something. They're seeking a second opinion on an ongoing problem. Or we could use for here, might be better. Second opinion for an ongoing issue they have been struggling with. So doctor is D and patient is P. I have made the patient like a blue color, but it may not be as obvious. But let's walk through this now. So doctor says, if I put this up here like this, a bit bigger. Please come in, take a seat. Thank you. Okay, hello, I'm Dr. Frida. I believe you are having problems with your foot. Well, my toe, actually. Talk to me about your toe. Um, it's been infected for about a year. I went to my usual doctor and he gave me antibiotics, but they didn't do anything. So I just stopped going, and now my toe has been in my sock for about 6 months. When you say it's been in your sock, please don't tell me you've been wearing the same sock for 6 months. Uh, if you have, that's all right. No, I do change my sock, but I keep my sock on when I shower and I change it without looking. Why won't you look at it? I just hate it. Do you mind if I have a look? Sure. Okay. Pop your shoe and sock off and jump up onto the bed for me. Okay. You have a healthy nail bed there, but at the top of it, you have a very thickened nail. On top of that, this nail is ingrown. Oh, I thought that might be the case. Do you have any issues with any of your other toes, or is it just this big toe? Oh, my little toe sometimes gets infected too, but it seems okay at the moment. Okay. I need to take a sample of your nail to send to the lab, just to rule out a fungal infection. So I'm just going to take a clipping now. All done. Pop your sock and shoe back on and come and sit down. Um, how long will it take to get the results back? It's usually pretty quick, a week to 10 days, I expect, but we will only contact you if we find a problem. In the meantime, I'm going to refer you to a podiatrist. You should get your referral letter within the next 2 weeks. Okay, thank you. Now, be sure to stick to cotton socks, a clean pair every day. And if you can bear it, I highly recommend giving your toe some air. I'll try. Thank you, doctor. Have a good day. And you. Goodbye now. Okay, fantastic. Hopefully, you followed that quite easily. And also, I do hope there were some things in there that were new to you, unusual to you, because I'd like you to gain something from today's lesson. Right, so what I'm going to do now is run through some of the vocabulary and phrases that I've highlighted. And then, excuse me, then I'm going to go through and I might point out some additional vocabulary as well. All right. So let me just see. Do I have lots of people in today? I do. I do. Hello, everyone. Hello. Thanks for joining me here. Brilliant. Okay. So the vocabulary I've highlighted here, some of it might be new to you, some may not, but hopefully it will give you a bit more confidence in using it. So at the beginning, the doctor said, I believe, what did he say? I believe you have a problem with your foot. Oh, there we go. I believe you're having problems with your foot, he says. Now, we know what believe means. It means to think that something is true, to have faith that something is true, if you believe in something. But here, if you start a statement with, I believe this, and you have this kind of rising intonation, I believe da 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 da, then this rising intonation poses it more like a question. So you're saying, I think this is the case, but I've not confirmed it yet. So if someone says to you, I believe this, and they have this rising intonation, it means they're asking for confirmation. I believe you've been out working on your garden recently. What I'm saying is that true? You've been working on your garden? Here the doctor says, I believe you have a problem with your foot? Question. Yes, yes, that is right. Actually, no, that's not right. I have a problem with my toe specifically, not just my foot, my toe. Ah, okay. All right. So you would use I believe when you're not sure. It's not always the case that it's for a confirmation. So it's not always posed as a question. Sometimes you'll use I believe at the beginning of a sentence before a statement to say that you're just not certain that that's the case. So if you say to me, should we have a picnic today? Do you think it's warm enough to have a picnic today? And I have a vague memory of seeing a weather report, but I can't remember for certain what the weather was supposed to be, what the forecast was. But I say, I believe it's going to be nice all day. By saying that, it means I've not confirmed. I need to double check the weather report, but I think it's going to be nice all day. Okay, so I believe the weather is going to be nice all day today. Next on the list, we have to do something or it didn't do anything. So I talked about, as a patient, I talked about going to my GP and getting some antibiotics, but I said they didn't do anything. These antibiotics didn't do anything. In this case, I'm saying the antibiotics had no impact. They didn't affect me in any way. Okay, there was no effect. It didn't heal the infection in my toe. So it didn't do anything. You might say, oh, I don't drink alcohol, but I once had a glass of wine. It didn't do anything. I didn't feel drunk or anything like that. It didn't do anything to me. Okay, so it had no impact on me. And so you can also say something did something, or you can tell someone to do something. Come on, do something. I'm asking you to act. Okay. Okay, that's nice and straightforward. Now, he also said, the doctor said, please don't tell me you've been wearing the same sock for 6 months. This is used before a statement that you hope is not true, but you think might be. So, for example, if I've made a chocolate cake and the chocolate cake is sitting on the side in the kitchen, cooling down, and I've said, nobody should touch the chocolate cake. But then my child comes in with chocolate all around his mouth and he says, I feel sick. I might say, please don't tell me you've eaten my chocolate cake, because I believe that that is what has happened. I think that is what's happened, but I hope that I'm wrong. So you say, please don't tell me before a statement that you hope is not true, but you believe is true. Please don't tell me you've eaten my chocolate cake. Or if I hand you a very special, very expensive vase and I say, could you put this somewhere safe? It was my grandmother's. I don't want it to break. Could you put it somewhere safe? You take it, you turn around, you walk out of the room, and I hear whoosh, crash, bang. And I'll say, please don't tell me you've just dropped my vase. I think it's what's happened. It's logical, but I hope it's not true. Please don't tell me. Please don't tell me. Please don't. Okay? So please don't tell me something. All right, next on the list. She then said, I do change my socks. Now, you could just say, I change my socks every day, but we use do kind of to confirm that something is happening. I do change my socks. So this would be in the case of if someone has almost questioned what's happened, or you really want to drive home the fact that something does happen. So if my son has a bruise on his face, or here's an example. Today I took my son out and his hair is long. So his hair is all in his face, in his eyes, and it's a mess all in front of his face. And I said, oh, it's such a mess. I do put hair clips in his hair. I do put hair clips in, but my son pulls them out. So even though no one had challenged me, no one had asked for confirmation, do you put hair clips in his hair? Oh, I do put hair clips in his hair. So that didn't happen, but I felt the need to say, look, I do this. This does happen. So it's a way to almost defend yourself or to really drive home that something does happen. Okay. Right. So bring the notes back up for you. Pop off. So there's a number of phrasal verbs actually throughout this script that you'll notice. Some of you who are currently taking my phrasal verb booster course, I hope you spotted the phrasal verbs. But I thought I would highlight one or two of them. This particular one is used often. If you pop something off or pop something on, it means you remove something quickly if you take it off, or you put it on quickly if you pop it on. So if I say pop your hat on, pop your coat on, or pop your shoes off. Pop, we use pop actually for put quite a lot. Pop that down. Pop yourself down. Yeah, something popped up. Yeah, pop can be used in quite a lot of different ways. I should probably do a lesson just on pop. Okay, so pop your shoes and socks off, he says, and later the doctor says pop them back on again. He's just asking you to do it quickly. All right, so next on the list, he looks at the toe and he says, you've got a very healthy nail bed. On top of the nail, there's some thickened nail. But then he says, on top of that, you have an ingrowing toenail, or your nail is ingrown. On top of that, this just means in addition to something. So it's not about location, even though we use the word top. It means in addition to what's already been stated. For example, I could say, I ate a lot today. For breakfast, I had a full breakfast, a full English breakfast, a fry up. And then I went to a cafe and someone bought me a nice granola and yogurt. And then it was, I went to an event where they gave me some little snacks and crisps and things. And then on top of that, it was my friend's birthday. So I had to have some cake. And this was all before lunchtime. So you see, on top of that means in addition to what I've just told you. Okay. Good. Okay, Lauren, yes, it is very British to say pop. You pop to the shops and you pop back. You pop your coat on, you pop it off, you pop yourself down. Something pops up. And yes, pop music as well. Pop music. Oh, I love a bit of pop music. Pop music is good for singing along too. Right, so some of you might ask, what is an ingrown toenail or an ingrowing toenail? This is a very common complaint of the feet. An ingrowing toenail is basically where your toe or your nail grows into the skin. It's very painful. Put in the comments if you've ever suffered from an ingrown toenail. I certainly have. I had terrible ingrowing toenails on my big toes when I was younger, and I had to have a procedure to fix it. And it was a very painful procedure. I would hope never to go through it again. Unfortunately, I do have a recurring problem actually with my toenails. They're just very wide and they tend to grow into the skin. And so I'm trying to train my nails not to grow into the skin. It's difficult. It's a difficult process. But yes, ingrowing toenails are very painful, especially if you're a sporty kind of person. But let me know in the comments if anyone else has ever suffered with it. Okay, so ingrowing toenails, a very common complaint for people. Now, if something is the case, I think she said in response to the doctor saying, you've got an ingrown toenail, she said, I believe that would be the case, or I thought that was the case. If something is the case, it just means it is correct or it is true. It is the truth. I believe that is the case. Let me think of another example. I might say Anna is planning to travel to Mallorca next week for a week to do a conference. Is that right? Yes, I believe that's the case. Well, in that case, I'm going to travel to Mallorca too. She can work and I'll have a holiday. So if you see case used in that case or to be the case, I think that's the case, then it just means if that's true, if that's what's happening, then this is what I'll do. Oh no, I had one when I was pregnant because I gained some weight. Oh, that's interesting. I actually had problems with my feet with my second pregnancy. I had cracked heels. And I felt like that was the weight actually, because I put on a lot of weight with my second pregnancy. I felt like the weight pushing down through my feet was causing my heels to crack because it was during the summer. I was mostly pregnant during the summer. And I always am barefoot. I don't wear shoes in the summer, hardly at all. And so, yeah, my heels dried and cracked with that. So that's interesting. Laura, I used to suffer from an ingrown hair. From ingrowing hairs. Yeah, that can be painful. I think I've had ingrown hairs on my legs before when I've done different types of hair removal techniques, especially techniques that really pull the hair out from the root. Sometimes then they grow back and grow in, and it can be painful. Okay. All right, so just so everyone's aware, I'm currently streaming live to 3 different platforms. So for those of you who are asking why I'm not responding, it's because I can see probably about 80 messages right now. And so it's very difficult to respond to everyone. So I will focus on the lesson if that's okay with you. And without further ado, let's go back to the notes. Okay, so I mentioned referring the patient to the podiatrist. I am not that familiar with this particular word. It's a new version of what we used to call it, which is a chiropodist. So both are used in the UK to refer to a foot doctor. So a doctor who specializes in the feet or the lower limbs. It used to be a chiropodist, but now they've kind of changed the term to podiatrist. I always want to say pod, ignore that, just say and then think of a diet, diatrist, podiatrist. and that's your foot doctor. I need to see a podiatrist. But if you said chiropodist, everyone will know what you're talking about. And then I wanted to highlight the differences in the names of the toes. Now, if we're talking about hands, we have a name for every digit. Obviously, the thumb, the index finger. Is that right? Yeah, the index finger, the middle finger, the ring finger where you wear your wedding ring, and the little finger. Thumb, index, middle, ring, little. But on your feet, we only have a general name for your big toe, which is, like the thumb, your big toe, and your little toe. All the ones in the middle are just toes. I'm sure they've got medical terms, medical names, but in general native talk, we don't know what they're called. We just know big toe and little toe, and then all the other toes in the middle. Okay. Okay, next on the list we have referral. So that is the outcome of the meeting between the doctor and the patient. Besides them sending off a sample to be checked for fungal infection, she got a referral. Now, a referral is just the act of sending someone to somebody else, usually someone who specializes in a particular problem that can provide help or advice to the patient or to whoever. You might get a referral in other things outside of medicine. Okay, so just to refer someone is to send them to someone else, or you could refer them to a document. I sometimes refer my students to the dictionary. Go and have a look in the dictionary. That's where you'll find all the information that you need. Thank you very much. These are not real. I'm afraid to say they are made of paper. But I love flowers, and I get very sad when they die. So I tend to have a lot of fake flowers because then I know they won't die and they'll always look nice. Okay, so what we're going to do now is go back through the script. And then I'm going to let you read the patient. Okay, so you're going to have to be really focused. I'm going to leave a space for you to speak the patient part. And then if you have any questions about anything in the script that hasn't been covered, that will be your time to ask. Okay, so I'm going to bring it up full screen here for you. Hopefully you can read this without any problems. Okay, so your patient, so you're all the ones with P, all right? So we're going to do this now. Here we go. Please come in, take a seat. Okay, hello. I am Dr. Frida. I believe you are having problems with your foot. Talk to me about your toe. Right. When you say it's been in your sock, please don't tell me you've been wearing the same sock for 6 months. If you have, that's all right. Why won't you look at it? Do you mind if I have a look? Okay. Pop your shoe and sock off and jump up onto the bed for me. Okay. You have a healthy nail bed there, but at the top of it, you have a very thickened nail. On top of that, this nail is ingrown. Do you have any issues with any of your other toes, or is it just this big toe? Okay. I need to take a sample of your nail to send to the lab just to rule out a fungal infection. So I'm going to take a clipping now. All done. Pop your sock and shoe back on and come and sit down. Um, it's usually pretty quick, a week to 10 days, I expect, but we will only contact you if we find a problem. In the meantime, I'm going to refer you to a podiatrist. You should get your referral letter within the next 2 weeks. Now, be sure to stick to cotton socks, a clean pair every day. And if you can bear it, I highly recommend giving your toe some air. And you. Goodbye now. Okay, fantastic. Now, does anybody have any questions about the script that we've just seen? Okay, there is a little part that I threw in there that I thought might bring up a question, and it's where she says "like" in the middle. So let me bring it back on screen for you. She says, "No, I do change my sock, but like I keep my sock on when I shower and I change it without looking." Now, this isn't something you would see in written English. I know it's written here, but the point of this is to be more like a real spoken conversation. In spoken English, you will hear natives using a lot of filler words. Some do it more than others. I try to avoid it. However, many people like to use sorry, I've just made that smaller. Let me make it big again. People use like all the time, and it doesn't serve any purpose other than to fill space, to give people time to think. And I imagine it can be quite confusing. So if someone says like in the middle of the sentence that doesn't feel natural, it doesn't seem to work, then accept that it's probably just a filler word. Okay. I don't understand why her has to be in a sock for months. Let me just have a look at that line for you. Okay, so yeah, in that line, we haven't used his or her because we're talking about her toe. Okay, so she says, I've just stopped going, meaning she stopped going to see the doctor. And now my toe has been in my sock for about 6 months. She basically means she's just been hiding her toe in her sock, like she won't take her socks off. It is a little bit odd, but let me tell you something. This conversation was actually transcribed from a real conversation that I witnessed. All right. So I was looking for conversations at the doctor's because it's all well and good me writing a conversation, but it's much better for me to take a real conversation. I've adjusted it slightly, but this was exactly what the lady said. She was so horrified with her own toe, she couldn't bear to look at it. And so she never took her socks off. She wore her socks in the shower, in the bath. She wouldn't take them off. The only time she took them off was to change them, and then she wouldn't look. She would just do it without looking. Okay? So that's why that's in there. I know it's a bit unusual, but it's from a real life conversation. Okay? Any other questions about this particular script? Did anyone spot any other phrasal verbs? We had pop on and pop off, and we had rule out. Rule out. Did anyone spot that? They sent the clippings to the lab to rule out a fungal infection. That means to make sure that the fungal infection isn't present. So they want to rule it out as an option. They want to discard it. Yeah. If you rule something out, you want to get rid of it as an option. Okay. For example, if my gymnastics coach needs to pick 3 people to be on the team to represent our club, and they have 2 people already, and now they're just picking a 3rd person, but there's 5 of us to choose from, and we're all very good, the coach has a very difficult task. He has to pick 1 out of 5, and we're all very good. But then I fall over and break my leg. touch wood, that never happens again. I fall over and break my leg, that will rule me out. That means I am now discarded as an option. I'm no longer an option. Anna is ruled out. So now the coach only has to choose 1 out of 4 gymnasts to represent the club. Okay, so that's how rule out works. Yeah, atomic, very good. To eliminate, or discard as an option. You discard it as an option. Okay, so we had another phrasal verb in here. If I can find it quickly while I scan. Stick to, and I highlighted it even. Here we go. To stick to. To stick to. To stick to normally means to stay within the rules that have been set up. So you stick to the speed limit when you're driving, means that you don't go over it. You don't break those highway laws. You stick to the rules. So you stay with it. So I'm asking you to stick to, stay with cotton socks. That's the kind of a parameter I'm setting for you, a rule I'm setting for you, and I want you to stay with that. So stick to cotton socks only. Brilliant. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is go through the script again, and you are now going to be the doctor. Okay, I'm going to be the patient. You've got a lot of vocabulary to read. I'll try and give you more than enough time. So I'll do it half the speed as to how I would normally read it. So if I go too fast, I apologize, but I'll try and give you enough time. You're reading the doctor, and I'm the patient. So here we go. When you're ready, you start, please. Thank you. Well, my toe, actually. It's been infected for about a year. I went to my usual doctor and he gave me antibiotics, but they didn't do anything. So I just stopped going, and now my toe's been in my sock for about 6 months. Um, no, I do change my sock, but like I keep my sock on when I shower and I change it without looking. Oh, I just hate it. Sure. Oh. I thought that might be the case. Mm. My little toe sometimes gets infected too, but it seems okay at the moment. How long will it take to get the results back? Okay, thank you. I'll try. Thank you, doctor. Have a good day. Brilliant. Okay, be honest. How many of you struggled to say podiatrist? To be honest, it took me about 3 attempts and I had to really focus to get that word into my brain. Sometimes pronunciations cannot be informed easily from the spellings, especially in English. And we have to try to come up with a way of tackling individual words. And so, like I said, for me, I think about diet in the middle, podiatrist. Laura, make sure you put a K on the beginning. If something knocks you down, then it's a K, a silent K. So podiatrist knocked you down. Thank you for being honest. Tomek, it bothered you as well. Good. Well, not good, but thank you for being honest. Stephanie, you too. Yeah, it was tricky. It was tricky. I got the referral to this live show from a notification with an F, not a V, notification. I stuck to it. Thanks, doctor. Good, good. I'm glad you guys come in when you get your notifications. Okay, well, I do hope that you enjoyed today's lesson. I hope that it was useful for you. Obviously, I don't do role plays very often, but if you would like more of this type of lesson, please let me know. And if you prefer them to be pre-recorded, big production lessons when we do role plays, let me know. I can do that. Or if you're quite happy with these live streams to be covering role play type lessons, then let me know. Obviously, everything I do is for you guys. So whatever works best for you. And also let me know about the speed. Did I give you enough time? Was it too slow? Let me know. All right. I do hope you're all safe and well and that you continue to be over the coming weeks. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care of yourselves. Bye, everyone. Oh, and don't forget to give this video a like. And if you're new, subscribe.